Hey everybody, welcome to episode 3 of the Lack of Communication podcast, a communication breakdown of everything glam, hair metal, sleaze, 80s hard rock, whatever you guys want to call it. Joined by Sarah and Gareth.
Hello.
G'day.
What's been happening, guys? We got some stuff to tell these people about, some fucking cool tours coming and shit.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff coming. Bullet Boys.
So probably the most surprising one, like I never thought we'd get Bullet Boys come through. You know, like
Yeah.
it's pretty random. Like they're not even that. They weren't really that big over in the States, were they? You know, like
I didn't even realize they were still active.
yeah, true. No, it's really cool. But is it Silverback touring?
I think so because, they're
Yeah.
bringing out another one of our favourite bands, Hardcore Superstar.
Yeah, it's gonna.
Hell yes.
Yeah, that is
Hell
one
yes.
that's going to be fucking awesome. If people a few years ago remember Hardcore Superstar was supposed to be playing at Soundwave, but then, you know, drama ensued, AJ Matter, you know, so they didn't get to end up coming over here.
I think it was something about they were playing first
I
at
like 'em.
Soundwave.
Yeah.
Like 11:30 in the
Like-
morning or something.
Yeah.
See, I don't know. Like my opinion of that is like I feel like they still could have just come over and done it anyway because their fans are excited. But then I also understand it from the other perspective where they're like, no, we're Hardcore Superstar. We don't want to play at 11:30 in the morning in Australia. Like
Yeah.
I get it on both sides.
Yeah.
Like
We also don't
Well-
know what the financial situation was either.
true.
And I'm pretty sure part of it they were promised sideshows because I remember like they were going to be announced and it was
Yeah.
going to be announced.
That's true. Yeah.
For weeks and weeks, and then it never happened. And it's around the same time that's when they pulled out. And I just think it was because they would have been happy to play at like 11 o'clock, but only if they had the sideshows as well.
It was really disappointing, but it's been, how long ago was that? That was a few years ago. That was like 2014. So it was like 4 years ago, and then they haven't really talked about coming to
To
Australia.
Australia.
I kind of assumed that they never would after that. Like I thought
Yeah.
they'd written it off.
Yeah.
They came here in I think maybe 2005 or 2007. I think maybe Thomas Silver had just left the band and they'd just gotten Vic Zeno, or he left just after the Australian tour. I'm not sure. I can't really recall quite what happened, but yeah, they have been here once before.
Yeah, long.
I thought it was a little bit later than that.
Like 2008 maybe.
Yeah, something like
Dude,
that.
2008 was a big year for bands coming. Like Rat toured here. Quiet Riot came through.
Was it?
Tons of bands like
Yeah.
that came through. I'm pretty sure Pretty Boy Floyd came out that year as
I
well.
did Faster Pussycat, or is that my imagination? I
Faster
think it was
Pussycat and Lynch Mob.
there
Lynch
you
Mob.
go.
Faster Pussycat
Bloody
and
hell.
Lynch Mob played at the fucking QUT University bar in Brisbane. I wasn't old enough to go, but
Yeah, well-
I had friends that told me about it and stuff, and like pretty
Oh,
amazing. Like
Well, I would have been just old enough to go, but I didn't know who the hell any of those bands
Yeah.
were at the
they
time.
weren't on your radar yet.
Yeah.
I was probably like, I think I was 11, 10 maybe.
I
Holy
was
shit, yeah.
still listening to all the brutal music.
Yeah. All the heavy metal. Steel Panther are coming out too.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Been a bit of a
Yay?
gap between
Like,
their last ones.
yeah,
you
like
know,
I
but
don't know.
I'm curious because I've always wanted to see them do a cover show. Like I wanted to see one of their like New Year's Eve in
right.
LA.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like last time, one of the coolest things when I saw them was not the entire show, but it was them playing Blackout in the Red Room, as their song as they came on.
Okay.
Oh
okay.
yeah, when I saw him up at
Yeah.
Eaton's Hill, though, like the people, whoever was choosing the music to play before Steel Panther came on, it was all like Dokken and
But
and
their
Love, Hate,
official
and,
like intro was Love Hate, and that sort
Ah,
of like it wasn't just the in between DJs.
Great song.
It was right.
okay.
So
Not the typical 80s playlist
no,
kind of thing.
it
Yeah.
was. So that's kind of I'm really interested to see that. Otherwise, I don't know if I would go again, but because I've seen them like 5 times.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing too. Why maybe they're doing bringing the cover show on tour is because literally every time they've come here, it's the same
the
thing.
same-
It's the
which
same
is-
girls that get up on stage
that's
with them in
it.
each city. It's the same. It's the same tits. It's the same. It's the exact same show all around the country. So like,
They've got to bring a new draw
and
card.
I don't know if their new music's that good.
Oh.
Like
Their
doesn't-
last album, like I could probably only name the single because I thought it was a stupid name. Like,
yeah, it's kind of eating a dead horse away. In a
Well,
way,
that's-
feel like.
I would
That's why I
actually-
want to see more serious stuff from them because
Yeah, that's
I
exactly it.
know their deep love of like Lexi's out there wearing like fashion police shirts, like all these sort of they're playing Love Hate before their show. They've played like with guys from White Line before, so
well,
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Ralph sang
Russ-
in LA Guns.
Yeah,
Is that what you were about to say?
No, I was going to say Russ, also known as Satchel.
Yeah.
I consider him to be one of the best guitarists
He is.
alive.
Yeah.
Like-
He's amazing.
So-
Didn't he work? Doesn't he work at the Music Institute in Hollywood where they like?
Yeah, I'm
He's
not
like a
sure of the
a
name
teacher
of
or
it, but
something?
he's
Yeah, I
a
can't-
teacher at some prestigious school
Yeah.
there. He's won heaps of awards for like being the best guitarist in LA and things like that. And as you can imagine, that's not an easy
He
feat.
was,
No.
he was in Rob Halford's band Fight
Yeah.
in the early 90s. That is a great. That is a great.
He used to
band.
play in a covers band with Paul Gilbert, interestingly enough.
Wow.
Yeah, they were called Electric Fence. I think there's like maybe a clip of them playing Come Together. And he's on bass and Paul Gilbert's on guitar.
Oh, okay.
And they
'Cause that
apparently used to swap. but-
really,
Yeah.
that's interesting
I
because
think-
that's two really, good
I think
guitarists.
Michael and Satchel used to swap around as well back like way back in the day.
They, yeah, Michael, Ralph,
Ralph, Michael,
Yeah.
Russ, Satchel.
yeah, he was in a really good Van Halen tribute band, like the
Atomic Punks, yeah.
Apparently, they're like
Yeah,
I
they're
remember seeing an
very-
interview. He said that David Lee Roth would come to their shows and like always steal their guitar player. Like, that's where he would go guitar player shopping. Is like go see the Atomic Punks. All right, yeah, this kid's good and like
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
I don't know if it's like blasphemous or whatever, but I feel like he would do a better job than David Lee Roth is doing. At
He
the
sounds
moment.
more like
He-
David Lee
Lee
Roth,
Roth
than
than
David Lee Roth
does.
these days. To be fair, yeah, I saw a thing the other day where Michael Starr said that the hashtag Me Too movement and this current wave of feminism is actually hurting their ticket sales. Like,
Right.
people don't like to come to shows, and he in this interview he was defending himself like by saying, comedians tell jokes about fucking chicks on stage, and he's like, it's all about consent. Like, if you don't want to get your tits out, just say no, and it's fine. Everybody's happy. But yeah, I just found that interesting because
It's pretty
the
strange. Like,
people can't separate
I
the
think it would
joke.
be-
I think their jokes and shit are old now. But like, it is kind of sad if people
I think it's a
can't
bit
separate that.
sad that they like if you can't notice the satire. you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's satirical as fuck. Like, so LA Guns are gonna be here.
Can't go an episode without talking about those
No,
guys.
LA Guns,
We can't stop ourselves.
La Guns. So that's gonna be really awesome. The reunion. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Tracy
Never mind me,
and
I'm just having a
Phil.
stroke over here.
Oh my, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, it's
It
gonna be
is.
so good.
So good.
Gareth,
Mate,
come on. What's going on with Crash
Well,
Diet?
speaking of, I guess, reunions, they never officially broke up, but they're inactive for a
Dissolved.
long time.
Yeah, they sort of dissolved away like a Barocca.
Crash Diet have announced a new singer, Gabriel Keys.
What's happening with them this year? Are they gonna
A new album.
a new album?
They've got a single out
Yeah,
called We Are Legion.
yeah. Which we're gonna
Pretty
play.
good.
We're gonna
Yeah,
play.
pretty
for
good. Pretty
people.
pretty Crash Diet. Pretty Generation Wild.
Yeah, he went like I thought. I think that you and I both pointed this out. Is that he sounds a bit like Simon and he sounds a bit like Dave.
Yeah, it's like somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, so he's got like the nice sort of serious deeper parts of Simon's voice, then he's got the mad high parts of Dave's that really like are really unique. So no, it'll be cool. I'm expecting good things from them.
Yeah, they've put up a few teasers. Just things of him in the studio.
Yeah, just little
A
snippets.
couple of live clips on YouTube, but they're all that phone kind of.
Oh yeah,
noise.
yeah. Have they been playing gigs with him yet?
They've played one, I think.
Yeah, okay.
In Stockholm. There's an interview on the Crash Diet website with him, which I haven't actually watched yet. Been a bit slack.
Yeah, need to get onto that, mate. Yeah, well, that's cool. So the next song that we're about to play is "We Are Legion" by Crash Diet. Enjoy.
That time has come and we're gearing up for fight.
Sweet. So we just listened to THC Groove by Bullet Boys, who are touring Australia very soon. Before that, it was We Are Legion by Crash Diet with their new singer. Now we're going to talk about some albums from 2017 that we really liked and some that are coming up in 2018 that we're excited for. My big one that I'm excited for is Spread Eagle.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've been fucking waiting forever for them to do a new thing. So I think they're on Frontiers.
Everybody's on
Everybody
Frontiers.
Yeah.
If you're
It's Frontiers or Gain.
yeah. I think if you're a band from back in the day that played that, like whether you're like just a trashy sort of sleaze rock band or you're a clean cookie cutter AOR band, Frontiers are all over your shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, but it's not the original. It's not their full original band like with Spread Eagle.
Okay.
Their guitarist, I can't remember what his birth name was, but now he goes by the name Salvador Poe, and he's like a Buddhist. Like he went and lived in India as a monk and stuff like that.
Right.
So he's not really playing heavy metal anymore. And the drummer has just disappeared. Like I don't know. I think maybe
Can't find him.
Yeah, I think he's gone.
Checked under the couch.
I don't know, man. I don't know where he's gone. It's Rob, the bass player. He also plays bass
He's
for
played
Sebastian,
in fucking everything.
Sebastian Bach,
UFO.
UFO, bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And he's got his brother Rick playing drums, and they've got a
Their guitarist is a gun.
yeah.
Like if it's
I
their,
don't know what his I can't remember what his name is, but yeah, I've seen
If
from
it's
the
their-
live
their-
clip. Yeah, it's the one that you saw when you.
their current live lineup is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, you got to see him live.
I know, twice.
So cool.
Yeah, nah. But like if it's that lineup, I'm just as excited. I reckon it's gonna be fantastic.
I've been keeping up to date with like the singer, like his updates on Facebook and stuff like that. And he's like, man, writing an album's actually really hard. I haven't had to do this for a while.
like 20 years.
yeah, like
30 years
Yeah,
almost.
Spread Eagle music, like I just can't wait, man. It's gonna be so fucking good. He's my favorite. I can honestly say that I really believe that he is one of the most underrated vocalists of all time,
Oh.
and
Oh, definitely.
like a huge influence on like the way I try to sing. And, like,
Switchblade Serenade,
Yeah.
man. That's all you need to listen to, and you'll be fucking sold.
Yeah. Check out Spread Eagle if you haven't already.
Yeah. Broken City as well.
Oh,
Listen
dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just that fucking scream, man.
yeah. It's got such a good voice.
Yeah.
Another big one I'm looking forward to, Hardcore Superstar,
Yes.
which is strangely not due out for ages. It's
Yeah,
like
when's that coming out?
October or something.
Really?
Really?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
put out 2 singles.
Well, Have Mercy on Me. We came out in October, I think, didn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, it's been out for a
yeah,
little while. That one.
they might be doing a Steelheart, and they might have like 6 singles
Release
before they
it,
release
yeah.
the album.
Yeah, right. But it sounds awesome, and like that's the thing with Hardcore Superstar is they're always changing their career trajectory, like from the early albums to like where they started to go a bit heavier, and then even now these last few albums, they're always still staying true to what they are, but just tweaking and twisting things just enough to keep it fresh and exciting, and always breaking new ground musically and lyrically. It's really cool. I don't know. What sort of stuff are you looking forward to, Sarah?
I'm looking forward to the Cruel Intentions, which, if you didn't know, is, although apparently I'm a bit of a outside of opinion on this one, but
Yeah.
it's Lizzie Devine's new band from Veins of Jenna.
Yep.
And I've been listening to like the 5 songs they've got out nonstop for like the past month.
I have to say, I
Yeah.
really love White Pony.
That song is so good. Like the guitar at the beginning, oh my God.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But I also have to say, it's no Veins of Jenna.
Yeah, that's. I think.
I love Veins of
Yeah.
Jenna as well.
You like?
but
Do you like the Cruel Intentions better than you like Veins of Jenna's music?
that's a very yes. And
Yeah, right.
Well, like
Okay.
they both have like I love Veins of Jenna's albums, but I really appreciate like the production on the new songs and how clean. Like they're still dirty, but like how clean they sound compared to the older stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I got to another band I got to see live, and after that, I've just been like really stoked for it because of how I don't know, just the energy, and it's just so fresh, and I'm really appreciating something. I guess new, old but new at the same time.
Lizzie is that sort of songwriter. Like if you listen to Lit Up, Let Down,
Yeah.
that I know you're allergic to the word, but that's grunge.
Oh,
It's a grunge song.
It really is.
It is a grunge song. But do you care? No, you like it. You like it, don't you, Sarah? You like it, even though it's grunge, because you don't realize that it's grunge. They just sneak it in there. They're like, yeah, let's like we're marketed towards fans of Poison, but it's like they're like Nirvana. They got
why I
real
love
shit to
them
say.
so much. Like Veins of Jenna, like everything they do is somehow like sleaze, glam, but they've always got an element of another style in there. Like there's punk, there's
Yeah,
grunge.
I even found in some of their stuff that like I heard like bits of like Blink 182 sounding bits of guitar, and then like bits of grunge, and it's like they just took like all the stuff,
Yeah,
made this sort of sleaze
Actually-
metal thing,
Yeah.
and made it modern and relevant and cool again.
Yeah.
Like,
here's a good question. What do you think of Veins of Jenna after Lizzie left?
I think that guy has a pretty good voice. I can't even remember his name, but I think he's got a pretty good voice. But it just wasn't the same. It just
No.
wasn't the same,
I-
man.
I thought it was horrible, and
Yeah?
they did that cover.
CeeLo Green,
the
fuck
cover
you.
album was
Yeah.
that was-
horrible.
that
And
was sad.
they did Smoke on the Water without the dun, dun, dun. Like they took
Oh,
the riff
really?
out. Yeah,
I
they
didn't
took
hear
the
that
riff
one.
out. Yeah, they covered Smoke
What,
on
what
the
did
Water.
they replace it with?
Nothing. I think the singing just started straight away or something like that. Yeah, it was really,
Okay.
yeah, really, like it was cool because they're doing something different. But I didn't really
It wasn't.
like
It wasn't for me either.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah. So are the Cruel Intentions? Are they gonna do an album, or are they just gonna? What are they doing? Just dropping songs every few months?
Well, that's
like-
what they've been doing, but from memory, I think they're gonna either work on an album or work on touring or something. Because I don't know why else they'd be releasing so many songs without
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
working towards something.
I really don't like this new trend of 4 or 5 singles off an album. It's
Yeah.
just too much. Like,
Yeah,
I
It's
understand
it's
you
ju-
want to make cool video clips. You want a single.
Well-
like you can space it out. You can get more attention that way. But
But maybe
by,
release
by,
it.
by the
once
time the
the-
album's out,
yeah.
you've already heard most of it, and you're like, oh,
yeah. There could be various reasons for that. Like people's attention spans
Yeah.
are a lot shorter these days.
that's very true.
You know, so there
what?
could be a method to the madness. But you're a purist. You want
Yeah,
you want
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
You're
I'll
a
take
purist,
that.
G man.
I'm that read the booklet back to front. Guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You like to smell your music. Like, you know what I mean? You want it tangible, like in your hands. Like
Yeah.
that's why you're always the first guy to fucking pre-order a vinyl when Hardcore Superstar or Crash died or
Oh, yeah.
Wednesday 13, like do anything. You're always like the first dude that's got the vinyl coming in the mail. You know
There's
what I mean?
nothing like New Vinyl Day.
Fuck yeah. So I guess that's pretty good for stuff that we're looking forward to. But what did we like about last year? That's what I want to know. What did you guys?
Well, obviously, this podcast's favorite band, LA Guns,
Yeah.
killer album,
Oh,
Absolutely.
so
fucking
fucking good,
killer
man.
album.
So good. What's your favorite track off that album? The
Oh,
Missing Piece.
God.
We should say the name of the album. The Missing Piece.
That's a good point.
Yeah. You don't have.
Look, it's the single, Speed.
Speed. Oh, Speed is so good.
It's just so punchy.
It's there's fucking heaps of good songs. Like it's all good. It's all killer.
Yeah.
No filler.
Absolutely.
But my favorite fucking by leaps and bounds is The Devil Made Me Do It.
Oh, yeah.
That is such
yeah.
a fucking ball terror of a song, dude. Like,
Yeah.
The whole album is there. Like you just put it on and you get punched in the face the whole time.
And it's I mean, for me it's kind of a long album, but I did not notice it at all.
yeah.
It's just, and like Sticky Fingers, Baby's Got a Fever, like just so amazing.
Yeah, Phil's voice is just as good as
Yeah.
ever. Still just as youthful sounding.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, just awesome. Did you have a favorite song off of it? Or you can't pick one?
I find it really hard to pick one, but normally I wouldn't go for the ballads and stuff, but the missing piece in The Flood's the Fault of the Rain actually
The Flood is the Fault of the Rain, that fucks me up, man. It is so good. Like, it is so good. I hadn't heard a ballad from, like, you know, one of these, like, 80s bands that I'd liked in years.
Yeah.
Until I
Yeah.
heard that. That song just, like, got stuck in my head. The melody,
Oh,
the lyrics, the music. It's so beautiful, man.
It's a
It really
fucking
is.
journey, but you don't notice it. It reminds me almost, I think it was that song of stuff Iron Maiden did on like
Yeah, right.
that album they released in like 2010. Not like a lot, but just
yeah.
the instrumental like length and just a little bit of metal in there.
You know what?
Yeah.
That's funny that you
Yeah.
say that. You draw a conclusion to Iron Maiden because when I heard "The Flood Is the Fall of the Rain," the verses and stuff reminded me of spoken word,
Yeah.
like poetry, like just people reading poetry over music. Like, I think that's a big. And then when the chorus kicks in, and there's that beautiful singing
I got
and the
it.
melody. It's like,
I got a really blues feel from it.
yeah, there's definitely
Like-
there's definitely that too.
Yeah.
I think we're onto something
It's
here,
just
guys.
such a like that whole album is
Iron Maiden's blues spoken word.
Bluesy spoken word song. Yeah,
Yeah.
fucking crazy good song, but.
yeah. Like,
So, your favorite band in the world released an album last year, didn't they?
They did. If anyone hasn't figured that out by now, or I haven't told you, my favorite band in the world is Vane, and they released a pretty great album last year, Rolling with the Punches.
Mm.
I like everything they do, so I'm very biased.
Yeah,
But it was just so nice to hear like something new from them, and it was refreshing because it was a bit more almost. There's a few more progressive songs, I guess, not heavily progressive, but just more focus on musicianship, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found it like as someone who's only really heard their like old stuff.
No respect.
I found it to slot right in.
Yeah.
There's no like, oh, that's the new sound. Like,
Yeah.
they sounded fresh, but they still sounded like Vane.
It still
Yeah.
fits with alongside the
Yeah.
rest of their stuff. And once again, he's one of those singers like just always had a really good voice. I thought really
absolutely.
unique, and it still sounds the same. Like
Yeah.
even you know, like a lot of singers, like they still sound really good, but they sound
Yeah.
different. He sounds exactly the same as
I
he
know.
did 30 years ago. It's like, what the fuck? Like it's crazy. Like
Yeah.
Vampire.
he's a vampire. Obviously. Yeah. Does he still not wear shoes on stage?
He does not wear shoes, and he wears red leather pants.
Red leather pants and no shoes. Why does he not wear shoes?
Good
He wants to
combo.
feel more connected to the earth
I
or
think-
something like that?
I
or-
can't remember where I just think he just doesn't like the feeling of wearing shoes. It's like,
I've seen a lot of bands where there's someone not wearing shoes, but it's always like the bass player or
Yeah.
the drummer or something.
You know what's funny? Christina Aguilera also doesn't wear shoes on stage, and Davey Vane was an engineer and mixer on a Christina Aguilera album. Yeah,
There
It's
you
the
go.
same- yeah. So
Maybe he taught her the no shoes.
the
No
no
shoes.
shoe trick. Fuck yeah. Oh, Junkyard. What's going on?
wow.
Tell us
Another
about
band
Junkyard.
I love, Junkyard. They're like, if you haven't heard of them, or you might have heard of them, they had a song called Hollywood back in the day,
Mm.
but they were kind of the tail end of Glam, Sleaze, but they're a pretty punk as well.
I kind of put them in with like LA Guns N'
Yeah.
Roses, Spread Eagle.
Sleazy.
Yeah,
You know,
they're-
dirty.
They're
They're dirty
kinda
boys.
just
Yeah.
like the balls out hard rock kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. There's
No Brett
fluffy,
Michaels
there's
about
no,
it.
Yeah, there's no
No.
fluffiness there. But yeah. So they put out a new album. What's the album called?
High Water.
High Water, yeah.
Came out in April of last year, and I sort of didn't pay a lot of attention to it, but then I was going overseas and I got the opportunity, another band I've got the opportunity to see live, and I downloaded it, had a listen to it, and it actually became one of my favorites. Don't Give a Damn and Faded are probably my two top picks off that album, and it's just real good, hard, dirty punk rock.
All the stuff you like.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
the stuff I love in an album.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Kind of guitars where you just like bite your teeth together.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck yeah.
No fucking around there.
Let's talk about some singles that came out last year.
Yeah.
We got Santa Cruz, Young Blood Rising.
Yeah, I reckon it's pretty boss song. Like heavy.
Honestly, as someone who hasn't really enjoyed the last few releases, this song in particular, not necessarily this album, but this song is fucking great.
Yeah, really heavy. Great guitar playing. His voice is like, I think it's matured a lot since from the early stuff. Like when he was like still trying to hit those sort of high notes that are a bit.
Yeah, there's a few songs where he tries to hit the highs and you're like, not quite, mate.
Yeah, yeah, but I think he's realized and he's just like sticks to his strengths. Like he's found his I was gonna say pocket, his little nook,
Yeah.
his little nook and cranny.
Yeah.
So yeah, fucking awesome song. Check it out if you haven't heard it already. If you haven't heard of Santa Cruz, they're pretty rad. They toured with Sebastian Bach through America and Canada, I think, and he was a mentor to them on some show. I haven't seen it. I haven't
it's
seen
on
it.
YouTube, I think. And he's in the crowd.
There's a snippet of it on YouTube, but like, I haven't been able to see the episode yet. And yeah, he got to Sebastian Bach mentored them and stuff like that, and he fucking sings their praises. Like,
That's pretty good review.
Yeah. You'd be pretty pleased with that on like your
that's
resume. Or
yeah.
whatever.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Looks good on paper for sure.
Yeah.
Let's talk Shiraz Lane.
Yeah. Okay.
New album came out a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
Obviously the single from last year, which totally blew me away. Harder to Breathe.
It is a really good
a whole
song.
new angle for them. Just real mature sound compared to their early stuff, but just
They're one of
kills.
those bands that's in this sort of modern glam era. They are on the rise to like becoming one of the
I see
more
that.
prominent ones. I
Yeah.
think they're definitely they're a band to like look out for because they're making waves and they're making impact at the moment. They're getting more and more of a following. Like every few months, it seems like more people around me are talking about this band Shiraz Lane. Like all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, okay. And I hadn't really paid attention. I'd heard of them. I'd seen their name on Sleaze Rocks and websites like that, but I hadn't really paid attention to them. And then like I've been listening to it when we hang out, and it's pretty good. Like some of it's not my cup of tea. Like Harder to Breathe.
It is
awesome.
getting poppier and poppier.
Awesome
Yeah.
tune, but then there's another one. What's the other one called that they've just
We Are the People. No.
Yeah,
That's
no, it's
something about being people.
Yeah, it's something like something about being people.
I think it's called people like us.
People like
Yeah,
us or
that's
something.
it.
And
Yeah,
it's got this piano part that just kills the whole
yeah,
song for me.
Yeah. I don't know. I just didn't think that was like as badass. And,
I still think they're a really great band. Like,
Yeah.
my singer introduced me to them like maybe 18 months ago, and at the time everyone was like, "Who?"
Yeah,
Who?
no one knew about
Right?
it. No one knew
Yeah.
about
And
it.
you know,
yeah.
like 6 months ago, everyone's going, "Have you heard this band, Shiraz Lane?"
yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah, exactly, dude. All of a sudden, they're like the talk of the sort of glam
Yeah.
community. Like
Yeah.
now, they're definitely one to look out for.
Mm.
more Scandinavians, of course.
Yeah.
Cruel Intentions.
Yeah.
Sick Adrenaline.
Yeah.
That was bomb ass.
Yeah.
Pretty sweet film clip, just playing in a shipping container, but they made
Oh
it look
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice and simple. That's the way. No.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Well, we were talking about them before, so hopefully they put out a whole album at some point.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
hope so. Too many singles, mate.
Yeah. All right. I reckon it's time to play something.
Yeah. What are we listening to?
We're going to listen to Don't Give a Damn by Junkyard.
Where am I this morning? Not in my own bed. God, what an awful morning. I slept in my clothes again. Never got up this morning 'cause I didn't go to bed. Got 13 tiny hammers slowly working on my head. And I never felt such pain. This hangover's insane. You're supposed to be my friend. At least you could have stopped me. First I was drinking JD, then vodka and some scotch. I guess I blacked out and woke up face down in a dirt lot. Someone stole my wristwatch and my brand new hat. They wrote the words, I'm a drunk, and felt it on my back. Now the girl I was with last night, she now hates me. And I can't recall exactly what I said. Maybe it's because I drank up all her money. Maybe it's because I opened bottles with my teeth. Maybe it's because I'm just so filthy. Maybe I don't give a damn. Maybe I just don't give a damn. So I got up off the ground, then I glanced around, happy that nobody I knew happened by and saw me. Well, it's finally happened. It's the worst day of my life. I guess I lost my car last night. Thank God I didn't find it. Sailors feel like sailing, drinkers feel like drinking. That's the best damn reason why I just don't give a damn. Now the girl I was with last night, she now hates me. And I can't recall exactly what I said. Maybe it's because I drank up all her money. Maybe it's because I opened bottles with my teeth. Maybe it's because I'm just so filthy. Maybe I don't give a damn. Maybe I just don't give a damn.
Okay, please welcome Cherry Bombs.
and that last song was the Cherry Bombs with Hot Girls in Love, and that leads us pretty well into our next section,
Nice little segue.
which is Hanoi Rocks.
Hanoi Rocks, one of the most influential bands probably ever, but also rarely ever heard of in a way. You know what I mean? They've taken so much. They've influenced the music world so much, but then people don't really know them.
Band that's buried just under the surface.
Yeah. They're like just there, like just under the water. Like
anyone who's decided to dig a bit deeper is obviously would have heard of them. But anyone who's not into this kind of stuff and hasn't is like, what the fuck are you talking about?
yeah,
Everybody knows Guns N' Roses. Well,
Yeah.
most people know Guns N'
if
Roses.
you
I
haven't-
would
if you haven't
safely
been living
say
under a rock.
everybody knows Guns N' Roses.
Yeah.
That's
Everybody in the first world knows Guns N' Roses.
That,
yeah, true. They were huge. Most people probably too, like casual fans, might just know of them of like, oh, Vince Neil accidentally killed the drummer Razzle. You know, they probably if casual like glam fans or whatever.
yeah, if you
yeah.
yeah.
like probably would just maybe have that sort of association. Like
if you've
the
read The
Vince Neil.
Dirt or The Heroin Diaries, and that's your Motley Crue fan, but maybe not.
yeah, they talk about like how after Razzle died and stuff, like Michael Monroe hanging out with Nikki Sixx, and Michael Monroe was just like losing his shit, stressing. He was taking his makeup off.
And putting it back on again.
taking it off, putting it back
Back
up on
on.
again, just like having like a weird like, mental tick, you know, because
Yeah.
he's stressed out because
Mental beat.
because Razzle died. Like,
Especially
Yeah.
in a band where like you've put that many years into it.
Oh,
It's like-
absolutely.
it's like losing a limb. You
it
know?
would fucking suck, man. I
Yeah.
couldn't imagine if if something ever happened to one of the dudes in my band. I'd probably be taking
Yeah.
my makeup off and putting it back on and shit too, just
Yeah.
doing weird things, just trying to
That's-
deal with it.
But
Yeah, that's it.
yeah.
And like, I guess those people that don't know, like, Guns N' Roses got a lot of their shit from Hanoi Rocks.
Literally,
like, a lot.
I don't know if it still says it on Wikipedia, but one of the things that it used to say on Hanoi Rocks' Wikipedia is, this is the band that Guns N' Roses stole all their ideas from. And that's how I first sort of heard of Hanoi Rocks when I was younger too. A mate of mine said he was like a crust punk.
Yeah.
And he knew I was into like, glam and stuff like that. And he's like, have you heard of Hanoi Rocks? And he's like, they're the band that Guns N' Roses stole all their ideas from. And it's so looking back at that now,
Well-
it's so weird that he knew of them because he didn't know many glam type bands, and then the
Yeah.
fact that the first thing
Yeah.
he said is Guns N' Roses stole all their ideas, which I don't think that's necessarily like true, but
It's a fine line between plagiarism and influence. You know?
Yeah.
yeah,
I think very much aesthetically, not as much musically, although it's definitely there.
yeah,
But their aesthetic, like
Yeah.
especially in the early Appetite days, like
Oh, for sure.
Michael Monroe has Axl Rose has a Michael Monroe hair, like fucking
the
Yeah.
Welcome to the Jungle film clip.
yeah,
Big
yeah.
hair, aviators, button-up shirts.
Yeah.
you know.
You've got the pirate glam thing going on with like
the pirate glam
Izzy
thing.
and
yeah.
Andy McCoy. And,
Yeah.
20 bandanas. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, they're a huge influence on like obviously LA Guns as well.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like LA Guns cover a couple of Hanoi Rocks songs. Huge influence on Sebastian Bach. Sebastian
Oh.
Bach fucking loves Michael Monroe.
Yep.
Like he covered Motivatin',
Oh, that yeah.
and he did another Hanoi Rocks cover that I can't quite remember at the moment, but huge influence on Sebastian Bach, huge
Yeah.
influence on Guns N' Roses. Guns N' Roses actually on their Uzi Suicide Records, they released the entire Hanoi Rocks back catalog in the late 80s, like on their own record label. So
Right.
so the whole like, oh, they stole all their ideas from Hanoi Rocks. It's like, but they fucking definitely
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
hide the
they
fact that
helped
they
Yeah,
loved
they-
Hanoi Rocks.
yeah, it
that was the
wasn't-
only other band that got released stuff released
yeah.
on Uzi Suicide Records. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Imitation is the finest form of flattery, I think the saying possibly goes. I don't know if take
Yeah.
that as you will, but
yeah.
it certainly wasn't like we're going to take what Hanoi Rocks did and pretend that that wasn't what we were trying to
They
do.
still
That's
give him
it.
heaps of credit.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I was reading a thing in Classic Rock magazine a few years back, and it was like Sebastian Bach talking about catching up with Michael Monroe, and he texted a photo of him and Michael to Axl Rose, and Axl Rose's response was, "Holy shit, does that guy even age?" Because like Michael Monroe still looks beautiful, like essentially, you know what I mean? I still think he's a beautiful man. Like
He is.
And there's the weird thing of like, if you go to a Scandinavian country, they're still like super well known. Like they're just as big as Guns N' Roses in Scandinavia.
They're like they're like the Aerosmith of that area, or the AC/DC
Michael,
of that
like
area.
Michael Monroe was on like the Finnish Voice. I think.
He's a judge on the Voice.
Yeah, and he's just on all these ads. He's got like an
he's a
Person
celebrity.
of the Year award
he's a
from the
celebrity.
mayor of
Like in-
Turk. That I can't remember the name of the place, but just all this shit.
Singing a duet with David Hasselhoff.
Yeah.
Like come on and jump in my car. They sang that together like on David Hasselhoff's talk show, because David Hasselhoff is also really big in Scandinavia and Germany, pretty much any countries where
course he
people have
is.
blonde hair
Of course he
prominently.
is.
David Hasselhoff is
He's the one.
he's a god to them. But yeah, Hanoi Rocks, man, huge influence. I think that, like we were saying before, one of the only bands that sort of preempted them was the New York Dolls.
Yeah.
And I fucking love the New York Dolls. And, you know, those two albums that they did are great. But it kills me to say this because I'm more of a New York Dolls person than a Hanoi Rocks person. But Hanoi Rocks just had better songs, man. Like, they like, it's like, they were better songwriters. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I've seen a lot of comments about New York Dolls where people were like, they had the best live show ever, but they couldn't write a song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it's always something like that. But yeah, so obviously Hanoi Rocks would have been influenced by New York Dolls.
Oh, of course.
You know, visually and musically. But yeah, Hanoi Rocks definitely don't get enough credit, I think.
No, nowhere near.
Yeah.
No.
And I just feel like there's just not enough people know about them in general either.
But I guess they don't demand it. Like Michael Monroe, Andy McCoy, they don't go around trying to live
they're
off.
happy with what they've
yeah,
got.
they're not. It's not like because I
Yeah.
think the fact that they broke up for so long after Razzle's death really reflects like their integrity and their commitment to the band. But
they wanted
to respect the legacy, I guess, instead of trying to just continue on with something that wasn't.
I think they did try jamming with people,
Well, yeah,
but it just didn't feel right.
Yeah, and
like,
but instead of trying to push through that and say we have to do it no matter what, they're like, no, we got to let it rest and keep making music, but just do it in our own way.
Yeah, do their own thing. Yeah. What did you guys think of like? So, you know, we've kind of touched on the early parts of Hanoi Rocks and how much they've influenced. But when they came back, it wasn't obviously not all the original members. What did you guys think of the newer stuff like Fashion, that song and things like that?
I really like their new albums. I really enjoy them.
Yeah, I quite like them as well. I guess I was expecting that they wouldn't be as good as the older stuff, but when I found them, and,
I
like,
still
listened
listen to them just as much as I listen to the old albums.
Yeah.
I think they're very much companion material.
It goes, it sits, it's linear.
It's still got the same like genuine feeling behind it. It doesn't sound forced or anything.
Yeah. There was one song, I think it was a newer song of theirs that I used to like get obsessed with, called Reggae Rocker. Like, so cool. But yeah, after Hanoi Rocks sort of stopped, they did a lot of side projects.
Yeah.
And Sarah, how many side projects? How many other? So they shouldn't be really be called side projects. I guess they're just other bands.
Other bands.
Yeah.
How many did Andy McCoy? How many bands has that motherfucker been in? Because like I know it's a lot. Like he's done so much stuff. Hey,
I think just of first count, I reckon it's about 6, maybe 7. Most of them with Nasty Suicide from Hanoi Rocks, funnily enough.
yeah,
But they're very interesting bands because, like we just played before, the Cherry Bombs. It was Andy McCoy, Nasty Suicide, and then Anita from a new wave kind of
Pop, 80s pop type.
but
like they're like Bananarama or something like that, or like the Bangles or something.
but
you know,
together,
Yeah.
it's actually like I really like the album. Their song House of Ecstasy, Hot Girls in Love, it's Sweet Pretending, which I'm gonna talk about again later.
Yeah.
Just it's her voice is powerful, and it just is something very different from Andy McCoy and Nasty, but still very. You can see the relationship to Hanoi Rocks at the same time.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Andy McCoy, I think he's been in just about everything.
yeah,
He's
one of those
Fuckface
guys.
Unstoppable with Bam Margera.
Yeah.
Like, is he playing guitar for Bam Margera?
So they toured Australia a few years ago.
Yeah, I remember that.
I saw them.
Oh, you did go? Yeah. How was it?
It was a pretty good show. I'm not sure if Andy knew which show he was at.
Yeah, he's still a bit of a
it-
loose unit, isn't he?
Bit of a strange story. I got an inbox on Instagram from their official tour photographer
Yeah.
asking if I could score them some weed.
Oh,
And,
well, there you go.
I ended up doing that.
You scored weed for Andy
I
McCoy.
scored weed for Andy McCoy, and unfortunately, I didn't get to meet him. Like,
That sucks.
it sucked. I dropped it off at his hotel, hung out with this photographer. You know, everything was sorted out,
Yeah.
and like, you know, I know some people, but I'm no drug dealer.
Yeah.
And they gave us tickets to the show.
Yeah,
Already
sick.
had tickets, of course.
Yeah.
And I was meant to meet him after the show, and yeah, just at the end of the show, obviously, I don't know, something happened, but
Yeah.
there was just no response.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
It was a bit shit, but
Still
it was-
kinda cool that
it's still
You-
kind of
you
cool.
passed-
You got that
his
close.
weed passed through your hands.
Yeah, Andy McCoy couldn't have got on stage if I didn't get him high.
Well, true. You're sort of like a savior.
Oh, apparently that's the ritual. He can't get on stage unless
Without
he's had a
having
joint.
something.
You know,
Yeah.
he needs something to chill out first.
Yeah, far out. So he's done. What are some others? Because he's done a few different projects. Like, what's some other stuff he's done? Fuckface Unstoppable, the Cherry Bombs.
Back to bands with him and Nasty Suicide. He released an album they were in a band called the Suicide Twins, and they released an album called Silver Missiles and Nightingales.
Yeah.
And it's like an acoustic glam punk album, which I was
Okay.
kind of like very confused by that
Yeah,
initially.
yeah.
I was like, this isn't gonna work for me. This is gonna be weird. But it's really heavy, but it's acoustic. They're just playing their acoustic guitars and singing.
Yeah.
I think they came out shortly after Razzle died, like after they decided Hanoi wasn't going to continue. And they just created some really intense emotional music, I think, that was probably some of the best stuff Andy McCoy's ever done, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um,
Awesome.
Very, very similar vein, very similar members, cheap and nasty.
funnily enough.
Cheap and nasty.
Yeah.
I
And
don't know if Andy McCoy is meant to be cheap, but
well, I think that's what's implied by the name. But they came out in 1991, I believe, with an album called Beautiful Disaster.
Oh, yeah.
And the single off that's probably my favorite song off that album. But if you've ever listened to like Building on Tradition, which is Andy McCoy's solo albums that came out afterwards, it's a lot more in that vein.
Yeah.
It's very guitar driven,
Yeah.
bluesy, glam punky shit that he's doing in
yeah.
Hanoi Rocks, but
Yeah.
it's pretty catchy. I do like that album as well, but the stuff he's done in the 80s is probably my favorite out of everything he has done.
Yeah.
He's sort of won't say lost it, but like became a lot of the songs started sounding quite similar off the stuff he's from the 90s onwards. But that's not to say it was bad, because I do enjoy it.
Yeah. Michael Monroe has done a lot of different stuff too.
Oh, yeah.
Demolition 23.
Well, it's essentially Hanoi Rocks after Hanoi Rocks, but gone more punk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It is a lot more like
It's yeah.
punk rock.
They cover the UK Subs, which are actually a punk band. I think Endangered Species was a cover on that. And it was released around the time when Michael was, or it might have even been just after Steve Bader's actually died.
Yeah.
And
Steve Bader's as the singer from the Dead Boys. The Dead Boys and Lords of the New
Church, with Johnny Thunders and everything.
Yeah.
And him and Michael Monroe were actually best friends. And Steve was a massive influence on a lot of Michael's songwriting around that time. And I think you can even notice it in what he's releasing now.
Yeah.
Because what he does solo is a lot more punk and a lot more
It's very
raw.
Very early punk.
Yeah, it's not.
It's still a lot of melody and like,
yeah, absolutely.
It's not like so much fuck the establishment as I'm doing my own thing.
Yeah, it's very it's mature punk kind of. I don't know. I just love it, but it's a really Demolition 23 is a really interesting band, and that one album they did I think is fantastic. And what I think is interesting about it, a lot of people you may or may not have heard of a band called Jerusalem Slim.
Yeah. So this is I really like this Jerusalem Slim album. And it's Michael Monroe with Steve Stevens on guitar. Steve Stevens from Billy Idol. I also played with Vince Neil.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, I've listened to it a few times and I think it's fucking boss as fuck. But Michael Monroe, it's like
Well, I think it was he said it was the only thing he's ever released that he wished he hadn't.
Yeah, he doesn't even want, if you're listening to this now, you're probably thinking, oh, Michael Monroe, Steve Stevens, I got to go check that out. He doesn't want you to check it out.
No,
he doesn't want anyone to listen to it.
He wants all copies found and destroyed.
yeah, basically, dude. But I'm going to say it. Go check it out because it's fucking awesome. Like, Jerusalem Slim is just a fucking cool sounding band name too. Rolls off the tongue. The album artwork's really cool. It's like a photo, a biblical photo. And it's just, I don't know, it's just really cool. Like, hearing Steve Stevens with Michael Monroe. It's like perfect. Like,
it's a very interesting album. I'm kind of in agreement with Michael. Like, I don't think it's a bad album as such, but I don't think it's true to what Michael wanted to release. Yeah. Because if you listen to everything he's done solo, none of it sounds remote. And I love Steve Stevens' guitar playing, but I think it works much better and is a lot more genuine, like on the Vince Neil album, than it is with Michael Monroe. Yeah. So, but that album, like if you listen to, I think they did The Scum Lives On the Steve Stevens album and then on the Demolition 23 album. And if you listen to them side by side, I think that for me says all that needs to be said. Yeah. With that said, I can see why people love that album at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, like with Michael Monroe's more recent solo albums, I guess, like starting from like Sensory Overdrive, which like the album cover is even amazing, where it's just his eye being stretched out and it looks like there's a zipper as his eyeliner.
I've seen that.
Like,
yeah, that is fucking
great. Like all of those albums, go and check them out. They're fucking amazing.
I don't know if is it his first one, Not Faking It.
Yeah,
fucking brilliant. Someone a friend of mine lent it to me in high school, and it just blew my mind. It starts off with a Nazareth cover. And it's just fucking really, really good. Dead Jail or Rock and Roll. It's I always see, I don't know if it's true, but I heard that Axl Rose sang backing vocals on that song.
I think so.
Okay.
It's either that or there's he's been sung it with Michael live, because I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure there's also videos of Michael and Axl singing Taxi Driver.
You know, it was really fucking random. Warrant covered that song.
I was about to
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah, Warrant fucking covered that song.
On,
Well,
on
that-
their covers album.
Under the Influence.
Yeah.
That's it.
And they swapped out the harmonica at the start for guitar. Like, it sounds really good though. I think it's a really good cover. But yeah, even Warrant. Sort of
Yeah.
influenced by Michael Monroe.
Yeah, it's one you wouldn't pick. Like, I know there's kind of
Yeah.
same, but not really. But it's like Warrant are a lot more squeaky clean.
Yeah, definitely. So that's surprising, but yeah, not faking it. Fucking brilliant. He's been consistent with putting out good music.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
And, you know, like, he's one of the best frontmen ever. Like, I got the I guess, benefit of seeing him
The
live
privilege.
once, you know, at Sweden
Yeah.
Rock in 2015, and it's 2:00 in the morning, and I'm tired,
Yeah.
and I'm
he's like
I'm in
60
my
years
I'm in my
old.
20s going, oh, I should go to bed. He's on stage, fucking smashing it,
Yeah.
like climbing into the crowd and still singing.
Mm-hmm.
Fell over, tripped over on his fold back, and did a kick up to stand up and kept singing. Climbed
the
up
fuck?
the scaffolding. Like,
He's
the-
superhuman.
the
dude.
man's
He is.
insane.
He's superhuman. It doesn't seem like he's going to slow down at
No.
all. Like,
Well,
ever.
they actually.
No, I don't think.
like physically and like just the output of the albums and stuff.
Well, I've just read the other day. I can't believe I forgot to mention this earlier, but I think they're writing or recording a new album at the moment. That's due to come out later this year, but there's like no actual information. It's just on their Facebook.
Oh yeah, okay.
But like and his last one was only 2015 or 2016, I
he
think.
puts out a lot of music.
Yeah.
Like
It's-
consistently.
Oh,
And you know, he's still doing stuff with Sammy Yaffa,
Yeah.
who we haven't really talked about.
Yeah, we
yet.
haven't.
Like,
Dude.
you know, bass player of 1 million bands.
Yo,
He's like the glam punk, like those bands, like you get those Hanoi Rocks, New York Dolls, Dogs Dear More, et cetera, et cetera. He's like the pinnacle of glam punk bass players. Like anything remotely glam punk, he's there. Like it
Yeah.
seems like he's the best person to work with. Like
Yeah, well, obviously, like, you know, Hanoi Rocks, Michael Monroe's solo stuff.
yeah.
He's played in New York Dolls for a bit.
Yeah.
Played in Jet Boy for a bit.
Jet Boy, yep. That's glam punk, bro. Like it's him.
Played with Johnny Thunders.
Yep.
You know, he was in those projects as well. Jerusalem Slim, Demolition 23.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's played in Joan Jett for a couple of tours. Like,
He's a workhorse too, man.
he's
And
crazy. He's
Well,
like, how does he do
who's
this?
the other person? The Backyard Babies guy, didn't he?
Oh,
play-
Dredgen.
Yeah.
Dredgen?
Oh, I'm not
Probably.
sure how to say
I
it.
don't-
I probably got it wrong.
This is like
Dragon.
this
Do it
is-
the Aussie way.
Dredgen.
Dragon.
Dragon.
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
This is the Smash Gladys all over again.
This is a Smash Gladys. Yeah. No, he's obviously like really cool to work with, and Michael Monroe's always like,
Yeah, he's a machine, and you know, there's bit of an anecdote. He's on an episode of Anthony Bourdain's cooking show.
we need to watch this.
He takes him to this pub,
Mm.
but it's not just a pub. It's like this weird caravan thing in somewhere in Finland, and you go there, and the bartender will serve you a drink, but whatever you buy for yourself, you have to buy for the bartender as well. So if you buy a shot, you're buying 2 shots, and the bartender's doing one, and it's all about
like
like just like
Shitty customer service.
shitty customer
Being-
service, and
yeah.
like just if you want something, you have to go and be like, give me this. You can't just go, oh, can I please have this?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
it sounds like a cool bar.
It's a yeah. It does sound pretty cool. Fuck
in
yeah.
a strange way. Yeah, I want to go to a bar and be treated like shit.
No, that's right. I don't know what else is.
I feel like we could go on forever.
Yeah,
Like,
we
Oh.
probably could go on forever.
Yeah.
I think this is pretty good. So what song are we gonna play for our
Well,
listeners?
I mentioned Sweet Pretending earlier, so that's what we're going to give you. This is the Suicide Twins with Sweet Pretending.
paradise before my eyes. Just fucked up for a while, but that's alright. Yeah, she caught me in her web. What's the next step? Please tell me. Even though she's a killer in disguise, so I lie and keep pretending I'm stuck on you. You shine a hole in my heart and it's big enough for two. Yeah, pretending, sweet pretending. Watch out, she's losing control. And now she's on the floor with a code 44. Tell me more. Shooting bullets through my heart. What can I do but keep pretending I'm stuck on you? You shot a hole in my heart and it's big enough for two. I'm just pretending I'm stuck on you. You shot a hole in my heart and it's big enough for two. Pretending, sweet pretending, pretending I don't care. Pretending, sweet pretending, pretending I don't care. It's getting hot and she's tripping off. Take it off. She says hands up, it's too late to stop. Don't stop. Even though she's a killer in disguise, so I lie and keep pretending I'm stuck on you. You shot a hole in my heart and it's big enough for two. Yeah, I'll just keep pretending I'm stuck on you. Well, my misery's without company. My partners in crime have been taken from me. We used to laugh about a legacy. Couldn't get arrested on MTV. Johnny Thunders was a New York doll. He cared so much he didn't care at all. Still Vader went to Catholic school. Turned his sins into something cool. And the scum lives on. All of my friends are gone. Why they gotta die so young? And the scum lives on. Brian Jones and King's Moon had style. Bon Scott was a problem child. Rob Tyner bugged the FBI. Was Abby Hoffman really suicide? And the scum lives on. All of my friends are gone. Why they gotta die so young? And the scum lives on. Jesse Helm's gonna live forever. Jimmy Swaggart's gonna live forever. Dan Quayle's gonna live forever. Ronald
And that was Demolition 23 with The Scum Lives On.
Scumbag. Speaking of scumbags, for the fun facts today, I'm going to tell you guys about Rockstar Imposters. So, Peter Criss, he hadn't been in Kiss for about 10 years. Okay. And then there was an article that was run in a newspaper or a magazine, one of those tabloid things, it's press tabloids, and it was Peter Criss, homeless, living under the bridge in LA, panhandling for money. And
under the bridge downtown.
Yeah, under the bridge downtown. So obviously Peter Criss is living in his mansion. And not under
with a lovely wife,
with his lovely wife and
his from
children.
A member of Kiss.
Yeah, and his and his daughter, and he had all these terrible things printed about him, and it wasn't Peter Criss. It was a homeless guy called Chris Dickinson. He, obviously you could sort of just with in the 80s that you couldn't like fact check things on the internet.
Not like you can.
Not easily.
Yeah. And, you could sort of get away with, saying that you were someone or being convinced that you were someone, and which we'll get to later.
Especially someone like Peter Criss who's wearing
makeup.
The makeup, he's on stage. Exactly. You can't tell who he is in the makeup.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why it sort of got more traction too, because they wasn't as easy to just disprove it straight away.
Yeah.
The Star ran this article. This Chris Dickinson guy, he went and saw I think it was an ex-girlfriend of Peter Criss's, because she's like, oh, let me help you, and then like he was a huge fan of Peter Criss or something, and he went and like rocked up at this woman's apartment, and she was like, what the fuck, you're not Peter Criss, I know you're not Peter Criss.
Okay.
And they all went on the Phil Donahue show. This woman, Chris Dickinson, the homeless guy, is pretending to be Peter Criss, and Peter Criss.
Yeah.
And they go on the Phil Donahue show.
90s confrontation shows.
Yeah. Like some of my favorite things ever are on the Phil Donahue show. Like it's always good for trashy sort of TV. Like Marilyn Manson was on there, the Club Kids and Gigi Allen on there, and that's
a great one.
I know they're really funny, but this one's a bit different. Peter Criss goes on there, and he confronts this Chris Dickinson guy about it, and hilarity sort of ensues. But there's some stuff written online where it sort of alludes to the fact that Peter Criss might have been doing some of the things, like messing around behind his wife's back. And stuff like that. And he's
just lumped it all on this guy.
Yeah, he's like,
who's doing most of it.
Exactly. So, and there are bits where he's like, Peter Criss acts pretty unlike Peter Criss in this interview on the Phil Donahue show. It kind of shows some different parts of his.
It's a Peter Criss imposter calling out a Peter Criss imposter.
It's Chrisception.
The real Peter Criss is like holidaying in Jamaica, not bothered, just living his life, not knowing what's going on.
It's hectic. It's pretty funny. The other big rock star imposter is a guy called Matthew Tripp, or Trippe. I'm not sure how it's pronounced.
Okay.
And he says he claimed up until the end of his life, he died a few years ago, and he was really sad and alone. He had lots of health problems, and he was a massive alcoholic. He claimed to be Nicky Six from Motley Crue. So when Nicky broke his arm, Matthew said that his story was that he met Mick Mars at a bar and was like, oh yeah, you need me to play a bass, and like Mick Mars was like, Nicky can't tour, we need you. And then apparently like Doc McGee sorted it all out, Motley Crue's manager at the time.
Let's be honest, I wouldn't put that past Doc McGee.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, he's a bit
he's
of
a shady little man.
He's a shady dude.
He did do the old harmonica miming thing for Vince Neil.
Oh yeah. No, fucking. So yeah, apparently he went on tour with Motley Crue and like all this stuff, and his story didn't really get well known until he sent a letter to Kerrang, and he wrote this letter and told his story in this letter, and he had some photos of like how Nicky's physical appearance had changed, you know, sort of proving stuff like that.
Okay.
And you know, like we were saying before, it was harder to fact check things.
Yeah.
Back then.
Of
There was no
course.
computers. You really wrote your stories on a typewriter.
You'd have to wait like 8 months for the second photo to surface instead of instantly.
You can't sort of, and like, you know, if it's a slow news day, we even see this even in our modern culture. Like if it's a slow news day, like the Courier Mail will post some fucking dumb shit.
Oh.
Like, you know, the Project, whatever. They'll, like, you know, if it's a slow news day, they'll pretty much take anything and run
that's
with
it.
Like, look at a current affair with the
It was-
nunchuck guy recently. You know, like what the fuck?
There's a cat stuck up a tree.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So
The dogs went.
no, you're right.
barking.
Yeah. No. So yeah, he's and they Kerrang ran the story, and then it blew up. And,
Of course they did.
And you know, fucking Motley Crue. Motley Crue didn't sue him. He sued Motley Crue. Like
Right.
he sued Motley Crue, and he was hiring private investigators to try and help him prove his story. And the private investigators, he changed his story. He ended up changing his story. Instead of saying like, oh yeah, I replaced Nikki Sixx for a few months and then they abandoned me at a bus stop or at the airport or whatever, he said that he actually was the real Nikki Sixx and he formed and started Motley Crue. And then he's trying to get these private investigators.
Right,
Like
yeah.
he got a bit overzealous and changed his story, and
It's starting to sound a bit loopy at that point.
Yeah.
yeah, and the private investigators obviously like fact checked their shit, and they're like, no, dude, you didn't start Motley Crue, like,
Yeah.
fuck off, like, they had to defend themselves in court. Doc McGee was the only one that actually saw Matthew in court, and that was, I think, the lawsuit ended like in the early 90s or whatever.
They're probably all too busy.
They're probably just like, I'm not
Too
fucking
fucked.
going.
Nicky was really upset about it too. Like, he was
Ooh,
really
yeah.
upset that this guy was out there saying that he was him.
Yeah, because
And-
he did work hard, even if he was
Dude, and it would
Well,
just suck.
yeah.
It would suck someone
Yeah.
saying that you did
do
something
all
like
your
this.
hard work and
Yeah.
then taking credit for it after
And
nothing.
you know, the rock scene at that time, who didn't want to be Nicky?
Well,
Mm.
yeah.
I think, yeah, there would have been a lot of people who like became convinced that they were someone or pretended that they were someone
One until they,
to get things like,
yeah.
you know, I've heard about this Matthew guy. He would like name drop that he was Nikki Sixx to, you know, get things from people,
Yeah.
like whether it's a couch to sleep on or, you know,
Get laid.
Mm.
get laid.
Yeah.
Obviously, like, you know,
Well.
the Peter Criss guy tried to use it to get laid. So I don't see why this guy wouldn't.
Yeah.
But you know, the thing that's funny about it too is towards, you know, after the Kerrang thing got picked up and they ran the story, he didn't try to make himself look like Nikki Sixx. He cut his hair short. It was just his natural color brown. He wore like tracksuit pants and like collared
God.
shirts. Like, he dressed like someone's slobby uncle. Like,
Right.
and this is at the time where he's trying to like
Convince people.
that he was Nikki Sixx, and he didn't even bother trying to fucking look like him more.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. It's,
really weird, really fucking weird.
Sounds pretty textbook mental health.
Yeah, dude.
It would be a tough position to be in if you are actually convinced that. As much as we can sit here and think it's ridiculous, because it is, but
Well,
it's hard to know what was going through his head. Like,
you know, as ridiculous as it is,
yeah.
not that I don't think it's true at all.
No,
No.
but I
it's-
believe that he believed it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He definitely believed
He-
it.
he-
And, you know, without delving too deep into it, it's pretty plausible.
Yeah, just on the surface, yeah, it did seem like. Yeah, so he was also heavily involved in the Temple of Set, which was an offshoot of Anton LaVey's
Satanism.
Church of Satan.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah. so the Temple of Set was started by a guy called Michael Aquino, who he was in the Church of Satan with Anton LaVey, and then he branched off and started his own thing, Temple of Set, which I think is still around today.
Well, I don't know.
Probably
Yeah,
in
yeah.
some form,
Yeah.
or maybe.
I think
I don't know.
there are some people up there.
There's
up in Queensland.
There's
who-
people wearing pastor things on their heads. There's
Yeah.
gonna be
That's
people in the
fantastic,
Temple of
though.
Set.
Yeah.
That's true.
Pastafarianism is
That is,
fantastic.
it is pretty great.
It's pretty much just a giant troll.
It is actually.
Yeah, fucking, and he was, Matthew was really interested in Satanism and stuff when he was young, like when he was like 12 years old. He bought the Satanic Bible from a $2 thrift store or something, and sort of like was really
If
really
you're gonna
into
think
it.
you're Nikki Sixx, you got to be pretty into Satan.
Yeah. Oh, he claimed that he came up with the shout at the devil thing, and like he would say like, yeah, they were going to call the album Shout with the Devil, but then because I came in and like I was legitimately into like Satanism and stuff, I said, I changed it. Like, or he said he would
Something
say
along those lines.
yeah, something like that. And the weird thing is Michael Aquino, the leader of the Temple of Set, was really interested in Matthew and really believed his story and encouraged him. Like they would go out for dinner together, and Michael Aquino would encourage Matthew to pursue getting his story out there and winning the court case and stuff like that. And it's really bizarre to me that Michael Aquino would have such an interest in Matthew Tripp. Like that trips me out. Like
I don't know. Like, isn't one of the basic principles of Satanism something about the self and being a true self?
yeah,
So
worshipping
maybe
yourself. Yeah.
it was the idea that Nikki Sixx was this guy's true self, and
It's really weird.
yeah, something along. I don't know.
They would eat
enough
dinner
about
together,
it, but
to eat dinner together regularly. It's just like, why would this guy?
or maybe it was
who's
maybe it
founded
was
this
a
religion.
Satanist conspiracy to influence them. I know.
Oh,
Some bullshit like that.
There's heaps of conspiracy theories
Yeah.
out there about Michael Aquino.
we'll
and
never-
he had his own court cases that he had to go through because of people saying cooked things. Like,
Yeah.
But Matthew, he ended up, trying to run with this thing and get back into music after the Kerrang thing, and he started a band, and the band was called Six Pack.
Oh,
Pack with two Ks.
Yeah,
and
of course.
six, obviously,
with
double
two
X.
X's.
Yeah.
How else would you spell it?
Could have had 3 X's.
There was demos, some of their demos online years ago, but recently when I was doing research for this segment, I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find any of their music. I swear I used to have one of their songs on my laptop, like in high school.
Okay.
Like there was recordings available. I don't know.
Something floating around in MySpace.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
But
Maybe Nikki got it taken down like Lars.
oh, Nikki hates this. Like
Yeah,
he,
well, exactly. Like
they
you wouldn't-
contacted him for Classic Rock contacted him for an article when Matthew Tripp died,
and he's like, "Leave
nah,
me out of this shit."
He's like, I don't care. But yeah, they started this band, and the guys in the band had to like teach him songs that he claimed to have written in Motley Crue, and like he couldn't play bass for
really?
shit, dude. Like, yeah, he fucking sucked. Like,
I mean,
like he could not play at all.
That's sad.
yeah, it is.
Like, he didn't try to look like Nikki. He didn't even bother trying to be good at bass like Nikki. It's really fucking sad. And he has a kid. He's survived by a son. Towards the end of his life, like I feel bad for the guy. He's just an alcoholic. He burned all his bridges, like with his family. Like he had a really hefty like criminal history of like violence and stuff against his mum. And the only time he would pop back up again towards the end of his life is like, for a podcast in Scandinavia, or like a US metal website or something would like remember him and like, do an interview with him as a podcast. There's a 2-hour podcast of an interview with Matthew. I haven't listened to it yet.
But we can't find it.
Well, we'll have another look, but yeah, I think that would be really interesting to hear this person talk.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Really crazy. Yeah. As much as Nikki didn't want to comment on it, though, this will help us segue into the song that we're about to play. Motley Crue, from their Covers and Rarities album, the song, the demo Say Yeah, was written about Matthew, and that's what we're about to play for you guys now.
All right.
You're hanging around like soccer. You're messing with my blow. You're hot, down, step around. Might make me go. It means promise
That was I'm a Liar and That's the Truth by Motley Crue, a little rare sort of B-side that was included on the Japanese version of the Red, White and Crew compilation that came out years ago. Really cool song. Well, that's the end of the podcast. You know, this is the Lack of Communication podcast, episode 3. A communication breakdown of everything glam, sleaze, and hair metal related. I'm Jake Blatchly.
No AOR. I'm Gareth Gras.
And I'm Sarah Sykes.
Coming up, we're gonna play two last songs for you guys. Broken City by Spread Eagle and
White Pony by The Cruel Intentions.
thanks for listening, guys. Bye.
Whoever say, won't time.